Okay everyone, welcome back to the channel for another video on Gran Turismo 7. We're back with another guide for the new sport mode time trial to earn you 2 million credits in the game as quickly and easy as possible. Now this one's possibly going to cause some people a little bit of an issue because it's a road car, it's a longer track, it's a little bit tricky to drive. But what I will say is the lap time is fairly achievable in terms of the gold. Silver, definitely. I think a lot of people will be able to get the silver. Remember, there is multiple options for this. So if you do enjoy these videos, they help you out. Make sure you get subscribed to the channel. We do these every 2 weeks when they come along for the 2 million credits. So how to enter, go into sport mode and click on the online time trial. Now, once you click into this, you'll be greeted with the Nurburgring screen. Click on that. We've got 2 weeks to do this. And you'll also see when you go in here what the current gold cutoff is, silver and bronze. Remember that these times are dynamic, so they change depending on the fastest time set in the world. So whatever P1 is set, it will be within 3% of that for gold, 5% of that for silver, and 10% for bronze. So try and set yourself a realistic target. If you think silver's the best you can get, go for the 2 minutes 17.5. But remember that will change. I predict that you'll need to be in 2 minutes 13 for gold and 2 minutes 16s. Low 16s for silver. So let's get on with this. Now, obviously, if you want to use my ghost to help you chasing it with, obviously, after watching this guide, you can load my ghost up. It's on there on the leaderboard, key 25. Simply click on it when you're in the time trial and load ghost, and you can set a deficit to it, either start it in front of you or behind you, whatever you want to do. So let's go into this and start from the final corner now. Nurburgring GP, one of my favorite tracks. I enjoy this track. So going down into turn 1, we are going to be looking to brake a little bit earlier than what we do this week in Group 3 because we're in a road car. It's not got grippy tyres. So you're going to see we're going to brake a lot earlier. So braking just before the 150 on the left-hand side. So you can see as we approach it now, just getting on the brakes just before the 150 there. Now you're going to keep the car in a straight line as possible when downshifting because remember this is a road car. Differential's not as good as on a race car, so it can become a little bit unsettled. However, you can use gears to rotate. Now I take a little bit of a wider entry into this turn than the P1 Ghost. He actually goes in quite narrow and then uses the gears to rotate. You can see the rotation with the gear shift. I stay in second gear. Now what you want to do though is get your right hand tyre as close to that curb as possible. You can see that P1 takes a massive chunk off that curb to help with rotation. It's just dependent on how you want to do it. I went for the more smooth line, and now we're going to go and try and rotate it into this corner. You want to get as wide as you can before you're turning into this corner. You can see we're trying to get it very narrow into the apex, so just a little dab of braking going in here just to help with the weight transfer onto the front of the car, just so that you keep the front tyres with the weight on it to get it gripping into this curb all the way through corner. I'm going to go up to third gear nice and early. Now third gear is very strong in this car, so you want to use it as much as possible. It's got good traction. And then as you come into the braking zone here, I brake way before the end of the green Astro. You can see really early on the brakes. It really is important because then it gives you plenty of time to slow the car down to second gear, and it'll give you the ability to get into this apex. Now what you want to do is get your left hand tyre onto the cobbled part of the track. That'll help with rotation. You can start putting a bit of throttle in then to give a bit of rotation into this corner. Now be careful, you don't want to go 100% throttle straight away, and you want to really take a big chunk off this corner here. And again, you're going to see I'm going to go up to third gear before I go up to that curb. So again, little lift off the throttle here though to help with rotation. So off the throttle, then up to third gear, and you can see P1 actually completely cuts this corner and gets away with it. I don't completely cut it. We keep our left tyre on the white line. On the exit here though, you can really take advantage of the full track width there, going completely over the white line, and then we're going into the next braking zone. Now I'm going to brake just about as we see the direction change for the sprint layout. We're braking just before where it curves off there and down to third gear. Now you're going to again use trail braking to rotate this car through this left hand corner. So you want to trail brake the car in. You can see that trail braking happening, not fully off the brakes yet, and then once you feel the grip there, you're then going to get on the throttle and start that rotation back to the left hand side of the track. Now you can use the last part of the red curb on the left there as a braking reference, and you want to make sure you're braking early again for this corner because you're going to go down to second gear, get it into this apex. Now be patient on the throttle. You can see not going 100% throttle instantly. It's a gradual increase to 100%, and just be careful on the exit. Use as much track as you can on the exit there for extra momentum down into the hairpin. So Again, as we come into this hairpin, we're going to brake earlier than what we normally would. You can see braking before the start of the cobbled part of the tarmac on the left hand side. So braking before that, down to third gear. Now we're going to hold third gear and brake as aggressively as we can. You can see on the brakes, nice and aggressive here. And once we need a bit of rotation, down to second gear, and then trail braking now all the way until we're completely happy. And then on the throttle, get it rotated into this corner, and on the power, and try and get as much exit speed as we can. Just be careful you don't go into the gravel on the left. And now into a very, very tricky corner in this car. You've got to get this car really chucked in. So as we come onto here, we're going to get a little tiny bit of braking input again to get that weight transfer onto the front of the car. Down to third gear, then back up to fourth gear, and try and get as much throttle as you can. Now be careful you don't run too wide on this part of the track here. You can get a penalty, but as long as you keep your left hand tyre pretty much on the curb, you see left hand tyre on the curb, you should get away without getting a penalty. Now powering your way up here in fourth gear, we're now looking for the next brake reference for this next left hand corner, which you can see there, nice white line right across the track, perfect reference to use. And you're going to be going down through to third gear again. Use as much width on the track for entry, using the green bit of Astro for widening the lining, trail braking down, and then try and get that left hand tyre onto the green Astro and then back onto the throttle as early as you can to get momentum, and also to start rotating the car back over to the left hand side of the track, where again, little tiny bit of braking input again going on to get that weight transferring. And we're using the full width of the track to try and chuck this car into this right hand corner. It's so important to use the full width because you want to get as much exit speed from this corner as possible. Staying in third gear all the way through there, powering out the corner, and now going into the final chicane, which can be abused just like this week's Group 3 race. Now I lost a little bit of time on this chicane. You're going to see as we come up to this, we're going to use 150 as a reference. 150 is a good reference to use. Braking ever so slightly past that 150 though. You're going to see I brake just a fraction past the 150 board, just before the tarmac change is in colour there. And you're going to see down to third gear. Now what I do is go down to second gear, and I get the entry line really good here, and I decide to try and do it in third gear. Now this can definitely be done if you get more aggressive on the third gear. So I was too late on the throttle here, so you can see we've got a perfect line to go straight over here, and I'm going into third gear, but I was too hesitant on the throttle. Could have been a bit more aggressive there. Possibly would have been faster to go through that in second gear and be aggressive on the exit. However, I think if I would have been aggressive before I got into the corner on the throttle, we would have carried more momentum through there. So maybe lost a tenth as we really attacked that corner, but it's really important to really get over them curbs and like get a straight line through there. Now onto the brakes nice and early for the final corner. Trail brake again, down to second gear, but again you're going to see I'm going to go up to third gear before I get on the exit. So on the throttle aggressively, and you can really put your foot down in third gear. That's what makes it a little bit easier. Second gear gets a little bit loose on the rear, but third gear nice and smooth all the way to the finishing line, and we go over the line for a 2-minute 11.5. Now like I say, that was in the top 10, but it won't be there for long because the times will go right the way down to about 2-minute 10 point, probably 2-minute 10.1s to 2s and stuff like that. It's going to go much faster. So my prediction is you're going to need to go at least into the 13s to get gold here, 13.8, something like that. But you can see we're going to watch the lap again from the chase camera at full speed, and you can really see about using the full track width in these road cars. It's really important in road cars to do that because you really need to exit corners as fast as possible. So again, third gear, really good for the exit there. Braking early there, second gear, and using this cobble on the left, you can see it again. Left hand tyre onto that cobble, right hand tyre just about onto the curb actually. And again, you can see we probably could have took more off that looking at how P1 did it before, but we actually went through the first sector on an okay split. So again, braking just before the split, the sprint layout goes off to the right, keeping the car rotating into the left, and again get it back over to the left hand side. You can see trying to get as much track width as possible. It's very difficult with these tyres on. Obviously we're not running racing tyres, so you don't have that grip to really hustle the car to the outside of the track. And now going into the hairpin again, using the start of that the cobble part on the left as a reference. Keep it tight. Now you can do this corner keeping it very tight. I went a bit deep into them. Now what that did benefit me with is good exit speed and a cleaner exit, but you can keep it a little bit tighter and probably gain a little bit more pace through there. Through the fast chicane, using that curb on the left, and again you can see just about keeping it in the track limits there. You want to get that speed through that corner because it will carry the momentum all the way into this next left hand corner, which again braking way early than what you would do in a group 3 car. Nice and early, getting that rotation, and again trying to use as much track on the left to chuck it into this right hand corner. As long as you get that right hand tyre onto that curb though, you should be good to get that throttle down and power your way now into that chicane. And you're going to see again, got the line pretty good through this chicane. The one problem was I was too hesitant on the throttle. I think I could have been a bit more aggressive, or use second gear and power the way out. Now, one thing you need to remember though is if you do use second gear, the car becomes a lot more unstable. It'll be twitchy, it'll be spinning up on the exit. So third gear is probably the safer option again for this corner. Third gear, early shift, nice and safe option. Keeps the car from not wheel spinning on the exit, gives you a much better exit, and you don't have to shift then as you're coming out the corner. So nice simple line. Hopefully this will help you out. Let me know in the comments if it helps you out. Let me know if you managed to get the gold, stuff like that. I love reading it. And I'll be back with more of these again in the future. Thanks again for watching, everyone.